Hi there. I'm going to talk to you guys this morning about sending your autistic child to school. I'm going to explain to you more about the choices you have and how it will impact your child's life. I'm talking from experience. So far, I've spoken to a lot of parents with special needs kids. They vary from cerebral palsy, deaf, and autistic, but I can only speak from my point of view with my autistic son. But I have spoken to a lot of parents, and they all have the same concern: is do I send my child to a mainstream school or do I send my child to a special needs school? It is a very personal choice. I can just tell you my story, and you can decide for yourself. My son, like I have told you before, was diagnosed with nonverbal autism at the age of 3, and it was confirmed again at the age of 5 years old by another specialist and therapist. My son, when I started looking at schools to send him to, I can explain to you the kindergartens that he went to 3. I had to go through a few kindergartens before I actually found a kindergarten that was willing to look after him for an hour or so a day, or willing to give me that break during the day, because like I said, he was severely autistic and he was a handful. He has improved a lot, but when I started looking at primary schools, I looked at private schools and mainstream schools, public schools, and what I found was that most of the private schools was honest enough to interview me and tell me that they could not accommodate Matthew. He was too much work, to just be simple. I was stubborn at the point I did not want to accept that. I thought that they were being mean and that it was going to actually affect his future if he has to go to a special needs school. How is it going to affect his high schooling, going to college application? As I mentioned, I'm in New Zealand and I'm not sure how it works in the UK and the US, but in our public schools, there is not a lot of help your child can get if you have opted for a mainstream school. They can apply through various channels for speech therapy, occupational therapy, but it's not everybody that gets help. You have to be quite severe if you have opted for that option. Therefore, after going for many interviews at a normal school, mainstream school, I came to the conclusion that I don't want my son to be in a school where he's not wanted. Number one, you can go through various channels to force a school to accept your child, but your child might not be safe there and they might not be accepted and be traumatized. I'm telling you this so that you can make an informed choice about schools and that you can go with your gut feeling. Like I said in the beginning, because my child was nonverbal, it was very hard for me to make a choice because I wanted his voice to be heard. I wanted the best outcome for him. And I have spoken to many parents that have kids in mainstream schools with special needs. Those kids are falling through the cracks, like they say. They're not getting the help they need, and even with good intentions from teachers, they are really battling and struggling, and they are not protected against the element of bullying and by other kids and being mocked. Even though teachers do try to protect them in a way, there's no way they can really be protected, because they might have a teacher's aide assigned to the class because of that child, but that teacher's aide or caregiver is not only assigned to that specific child. People don't realize that you might be able to get funding for extra help, but it does not mean that person's going to be helping your child only, or taking care of your child. That is why I opted for a special needs school that my son is attending right now. In the special needs school, he has access to speech therapy, occupational therapy, hydrotherapy that is done in the summer in the pools, um, physiotherapy, behavior therapy, even psychiatrists. He has access to all of those services. That is why I opted for a special needs school. And I want to tell you that exactly what I thought it would be like, it was the opposite. I thought it would cause him, if he's not surrounded by normal kids, that it would cause him not to talk, not to excel and develop his writing skills and reading skills and things like that. But it was completely the opposite. Because he's in a special needs school, he gets more one-on-one attention. So if that's the if you are battling to make that choice between mainstream and special needs school, you might not have a special needs school available in your area. I understand that. We actually had to move to another state. My husband had to find another job so that we could get my son into a special needs school. So it was a lot of sacrifices, but it was worth it, because with my son, especially if you've got other kids, I've got three other kids, with my son being taken care of at the special needs school, it gave me the much needed break I needed to have time to sometimes spend with my other kids. If I had to, can do something, if I could do something with them, like go out for coffee. I've got older kids as well. It gave me a break as well, a much needed break. So I'm urging you, if you are at the point where you have to decide which school to send your child to, if you can afford a private school and you know your child will get all the therapy and all the support he needs, that's awesome. At the end of the day, it is a personal choice. It is up to you. But I just wanted to put your mind at ease. If you put your child in a special needs school, it is not going to make them go backwards. It's actually going to help them develop better, help them, they're going to have more one on one time with teachers and teachers' aides and therapists, and it's going to help them be themselves. They're not going to have the anxiety of having to fit in a mainstream class, and they're not going to have be traumatized as much. Chances that they are going to be traumatized is so much less, because the teachers at a special needs school are trained to work with these kids, and they are aware of the challenges they have. Whereas in a mainstream school, the teachers don't have that training. I'm not bad mouthing teachers or teachers' aides, but it's a known fact they do not have the expertise to understand what is going on with that child when they may be having a meltdown or anxiety attack. They will maybe perceive it as the child being naughty or disobedient, and that is why I want to put your mind at ease, and I want to give you this advice. It is a, it's something that you can consider. If you have a special needs child, autistic like mine, and you have to make a choice between schools, I want you to be able to make an informed choice, knowing that where your child is at, if you can homeschool, it'll be great. I have tried homeschooling two of my older kids, and I will be honest with you, I'm just not cut out for homeschooling. I love my kids, but I don't have that skill that you need to be organized, and and maybe because I'm their mum, I just felt they had a better chance, and they were successful in mainstream schools. I'm going to make a lot more videos where I also include Matthew, because I want you to see the upside of autism as well. There is an upside. There's not only a downside. I have seen so many videos on YouTube, I will be honest with you, that these kids are portrayed as violent, aggressive, as unemotional, as ill mannered, and it's not true. If you stick with me and we go through the steps that we can do, together to help our kids. Like I said, I am not a therapist and I'm not a teacher, but I am a very dedicated mum who has decided that my autistic child is going to be a success story, and you can do the same. Thank you for watching, and I hope this has helped you to make an informed choice about schools for your kids. Bye bye.